And go ahead and introduce yourself and take it away. June, thank you.
Hi, I'm June. I'm a DIA intern, or I'm a diversity and inclusion intern with the LAPL. And for my capstone for the apprenticeship, I wanted to make a zine because the Palisades Libraries has zines and Ziba does a lot of zine stuff, and I thought it'd be really cool to make one. Um, and yeah, my topic is library cards and how to get one because that was an issue I think is prevalent in a lot of communities is they don't realize the resources available to them with library cards. And so something I am really passionate about is that everyone should have a library card and everyone should have access to resources that libraries provide because it's free and libraries are there to serve their communities. And yeah, so the first zine I made was a basic 8-page zine or an 8-fold zine where you make it out of a piece of paper like this and you cut the slit. And yeah, that was fun, but I wanted to try. It folds up like this. It folds up like this. Um, and yeah, but I wanted to try printing it out in different ways, and so that's what I made a little like capstone slide presentation. Um, but yeah, so this is the presentation. My zine is about encouraging people to apply for library cards because it's so simple and there are so many resources and possibilities when you get a library card. It's a picture of the Palisades Branch Library where I spend most of my time as part of this apprenticeship. And um, yeah, and during my apprenticeship, I attended Zine Club, which Ziva hosts here, and I got to learn a lot about zines. I got to meet different zine makers, and during my apprenticeship, Ziva went to a couple different, two different zine conferences, like Zine Fest and then the Zine Unconference, and I got to learn about her experiences there, which also inspired me further when making my zine. Um, so this is my prototype. This is the pictures are of my notes when first deciding how I was going to create the zine and like which pages I wanted to put where. And then the picture at the bottom is the crayon zine that I showed you where I use the crayons at the reference desk to color in a zine because my whole idea was like I wanted to make it look like a LAPL library card. Um, so this is my prototype, and then this is my process. So I watercolored a bunch of watercolor paper, and I wrote down the steps to getting a library card the same way I had it in my prototype, except I did it on nicer cardstock. So these are like the original pieces of paper that I colored for my zine. And yeah, so I watercolored these papers and then I scanned them using a printer. And I had to rescan a couple times because it had a hard time picking up the color. And then the picture on the right is um, like my capstone printing. So, like me planning out how to format my scans on a Google Doc so that it would print double sided the way I wanted it to. And I could like fold everything together like a book rather than like print individual pages because these obviously aren't double sided and I wanted the zine to be double sided and look more like a book than like a kind of pamphlet situation. And then here are the three different scanning rounds I went through. The first time my zine wasn't vibrant enough and I had formatted it incorrectly, so I had to redo it. And then this is the first round. There's visually through a screen, there's not many apparent differences, but in person, I can tell the difference between how contrasted my zine was, and I was very adamant about wanting it to be readable and like very visible. So I did a second round of printing, and the colors turned out better, but I still wanted it to be a bit clearer, and I thought I would have to rescan all of it. So then I rescanned all of it, and now the like uh, letters actually appear a lot darker rather than kind of like a faded gray for my handwriting. It looks black like it should be. And so that was my final scan. Uh, Here are my favorite library resources because part of my zine and part of this project for me was looking at the resources a library provides. And so I went to LAPL's page. I went under services and programs, and then I was looking at resources, and um, I didn't realize how many databases that the LAPL has access to. I One of the databases that I was looking at, it's all free by the way, was ancestry.com, and I found immigration records from my family. I found photos that I've never seen of my dad's side. And I thought that was awesome. I also tested out the state's Park Pass program, which is another program at the LAPL that allows you to check out a state parks pass and you can go to California state parks. And I tested these and they worked, and I didn't have to pay for parking. I didn't have to pay for anything. I just got to go into the parks, which is awesome. And it was free, which was cool. It was, yeah. And then I also really like Cybernauts. The Palisades Library has a Cybernaut, and I got to meet him. And I've seen so many people go up to him and ask him for assistance, and I do think it's one of our best programs for patrons who don't have access to technology or have recently gained access or technology or trying to learn a new technology. And these are just my favorites. There's so many other amazing resources at the LAPL that just aren't well known, or people just don't get promoted enough, or they just kind of fall through the cracks. But a lot of these are really helpful, and you don't even you don't even have to have a certain need. You can just look at databases or look at the photos that are or online catalogs that are really cool and really interesting, and I've spent a long time looking at some of them. um, this is my final zine, um, and I also have it in person, but it's kind of hard to see through the screen. It's a reprint, the third reprint, um, and this is what the inside looks like. On every first page, I cut out stars because I like stars, and also every LAPL library card has little stars along the top, unless you have a special card. But so I cut out little stars, and I thought this was kind of fun. I gotta write how many copies I made, which I've only made 3 copies. So this is the third out of the third copy. And yeah, those 2 pages on the right are my favorite pages of the zine. And I also put here that I presented it at this Zine Club because I'm presenting this tomorrow for my capstone. So this is currently happening, I guess. Um, Anyways, so I will flip through my zine, and then if people have questions, I can answer questions. So my final zine, it's how to get a library card, and it's shaped like an LAPL library card, but it's a lot bigger. And yeah, so it's a little blurry. This is June, and then Diet 2024. This is the apprentice program I'm a part of. And then step 1, go to a branch and fill out an application. And then step 2, have state ID or proof of address and proof of California residency. And then step 3, you sign your library card. And then if you're under 18, you have to get your parent to sign it for you. And then this is congrats because you have a library card. That's what the back of my library card looks like. And then it's really blurry and I don't think you're going to be able to read it, but this is a list of some of the resources that I think are most general and most prevalent to most people. So I said you can check out material, access computers and Wi-Fi, use the Octavia Lab, which is the Central Library's makerspace that has like 3D printers and sewing machines and a sound lab. Reserve free tickets to museums and events. I think that's like Exploring LA, the program, and you can do that online. And then I put access online resources like tutoring, collections, and e-audiobooks. So that's what that looks like, even though you can't really read it. And then this is the back, and it says get your library card today, and just go to lapl.org and click get my library card, the top right corner, and it has instructions on how to do if you wanted to fill out an application online and bring it in or stuff like that. So yeah, that's my zine and my presentation. Yeah, if anyone has questions. Um, what experience, if any, did you have with zines prior to attending the Palisades Library? I didn't. Thank you, by the way. um, I had some friends in high school that made art zines, but I never made a zine of my own really. I I guess I made like pamphlet projects for school, but I never kind of like made something about my own interests. Um, I would like make art a lot, but I feel like that's not the same thing as zines. So I really got into zines after I started working at the Palisades Library because we have a really big zine collection, and like I think the first like task I did at the Palisades Library was organizing that collection, and I also learned how to put the labels on the collection, which is really cool. And after that I started really getting into the idea of like self-published books or self-made books or like art books and collections. So yeah. Oh, Katie raised their hand.
I did,
I
because
would want to use
it's
watercolors.
just easy.
Sorry.
Thank you. So my question is, when you make your presentation tomorrow, is there any chance you could ask for funding so that you could get more of these made to distribute within the Palisades and other branches?
Oh, that's a really good idea. I didn't think about asking for funding, but it could be really cool to mass print the zines. Because now that I have it all formatted the way I like, I feel like it would be a lot easier to print
Can you
on
imagine taking
a
that like
larger
your
scale.
summer reading program? When your summer reading program begins, you could take that when you're doing your presentation, saying, "Oh, sign up for summer reading, and look, this is all you have to do." I think you'd be very good at that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a
Yeah,
great project.
thank you so much. I'll write that down. Maybe I'll talk to the person who runs the apprenticeship program because I think it'd be really cool to um, actually distribute it um, and have people see it. That because I feel like it would be really straightforward to get a library card if you just went on the website, but I don't think a lot of people don't have access to Wi-Fi and stuff, or just don't think to look on the website. So it'd be cool to be able to distribute it to people um, on a larger scale. But yeah. Um, and as for the watercolor question in the chat, I would want to use watercolor in future zine projects. I really like that. I like that medium of art a lot. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure what my next zine is going to be because I haven't thought of anything yet. But it'll probably be about the library again. But yeah, I'm not sure if nobody has other questions.
Okay, I'm going to come up with one for you. So now that, sorry, because I'm interested, I really appreciate your enthusiasm. I just think that's a really solid project that could be a great introduction for so many people. With what would be your next? I don't understand what is a capstone project. So would you go on to something like this again, where you're setting up displays or something?
Um, well, I it's a capstone project's like kind of like an um end of a like internship, I guess, or like end of
Got it.
a sort of like well, I know at my school when you minor in things, you have like a capstone project, so it's kind of just like a I guess you consider it like a thesis, but like on a smaller scale. And the apprenticeship program I'm a part of with the LAPL is um, is like a 10-week program where we get to sort of shadow a librarian at a branch. So my librarian that I was shadowing is Ziva. And so we had to do a capstone project based on some kind of issue that we thought the library had or something we think could improve the library. And um, I worked at the library at my school, and I've spent a lot of time in libraries throughout my life. And I always thought that like people not having a library card was like a shocker to me because I felt like it was such a no-brainer, but not everyone has like access to the technology or like residency proof and like things that they would need to get one. And so I think that's why I was like, I'll make a zine about it. But I guess if I were to make another zine, I would maybe make one about my experience working in the library and like my favorite memories um, from working in the library, but I'm not sure yet. So sorry, that was a really long answer to a really short question. And then, uh, yeah, that'd be cool to market my zine for library sign up month. So it's September, right? It's kind of back to school as well. And then for Maya's question, uh, this scene, like the watercolor stuff took me about a day, but then doing the scans and then rescanning was over a couple, like a week and a half or 2 weeks, just because I'm not in the library every day. And yeah, but like I guess if I were to make one zine, it would take me maybe like 30 minutes to print it all out and staple it together and stuff like that. Um, and then uh, and then Lori, yeah, like I want to know how you are using your library card.
Okay, maybe you can include this in your next zine.
Mhm.
I start graduate school tomorrow at Cal State LA in political science. I know. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be everybody's abuelita because I'm much older than most of the students. And one of the assigned books is this one. It's called Plain Honest Men. And it's about how the framers wrote the Constitution. Very interesting. It's also very long, and I have to finish it by Thursday. So I checked Libby to see if it was available as audiobook, and it is. So I've been kind of listening to the audiobook and reading, and campus is an hour drive from where I live. So I listened to it. I had 2 orientations last week, and I listened to it on my drive, the long drive. It makes the drive really short when you're listening to an audiobook for me. And also, I can maybe finish the book on time, which was not clear that I will be able to do just with the printed one. So audiobooks, Libby, love her.
That's awesome. I love Libby. I also use audiobooks because when I work, I'm allowed to listen to music in the back. Um, but I can't just like bring a book to read, but I can listen to a book. So I also use Libby to listen to things. Uh, yeah, and then I think part of your question was about you said I want to know library school undergrad or what? I'm in undergrad right now, if that was the question, but I plan on going to library school because I would like to be a librarian. Um, but yeah, um, yeah, if no one has other questions, I guess I could talk about my history with libraries and zines and art, I guess, because I think zines are an art form. But um, yeah, I'll just go over that really quickly and then I'll be done. But in high school, I did a lot of art classes, but I never did zines, like I said before. And I guess I started like becoming really passionate about libraries when I was like in elementary school. I sort of started a friendship with the children's librarian at my library, or almost like a mentorship, I guess, because I would see her a lot and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like this book, or like what about this book? Because she would give me book recommendations. And so I started spending a lot of time in the library because I like to read and I liked the librarians there, and they were really nice to me when I was a kid and a little bit annoying and a little bit standing at the reference desk hogging their attention. And um, as I grew up, most of the librarians that worked there when I was a child stayed. And so I kind of formed these relationships with my local librarians because they've known me from a very young age. And one of them has known me for 12 years now because I'm 19 now and I was 7 when I met her. And yeah, so they've given me book recommendations throughout the years as I've gotten older. And so I've always really liked libraries. And I did Teens Leading Change, which I think is a great program for teens that isn't, it's also not very well advertised because, um, I mean, as a teen, I wasn't going on the LAPL website to search for opportunities. I was going to check out books or movies. So, and I also was not following LAPL on social media because I thought it was too cool for that. But I think if it was well um, advertised, Teens Leading Change could be such a bigger thing. But it is a really big thing, I'll say that. And so I did Teens Leading Change and I liked that. And then when I got to college, I started working in a library, and that's how I realized I wanted to work in the library forever. Um, and then I got this job after that. And then when this job ends, I'm gonna go back to school and keep working in libraries, hopefully until I go to grad school and continue doing library stuff. And hopefully I'll get to continue doing my art and expressing myself through art within my job, I guess. Um, yeah. Oh, thank you. So I appreciate it. Um, but yeah, everyone should follow Palisades LAPL or just LAPL in general, or just your local library. I don't know. In college, I wrote 2 separate essays for my writing classes about how much I care about libraries and how much people should like care about their libraries or use their libraries because that's how libraries can get funding by having people use them, and if no one uses them, then what are they there for? So I guess if I do make more zines or if I continue with my like informational pamphlets and um, things, I will probably make them about why we need to use our libraries and probably about how the libraries are slightly underfunded, in my opinion. I think libraries can always have more money funneled towards them. But yeah, that's my spiel about why I love libraries and why I think they're amazing and important and impactful, because I think they were very impactful for me as a child. Um, like having cool adults that liked books too in my life was important for me. But yeah, that's my yeah, that's my library spiel. Um, if no one has any other questions, then I guess we can end early. But I don't know if anyone has other questions or anything.
My question for everyone is, what zine are you working on now, and how can we help you get it going or finished as Zine Club support group for zine making? But thank you, June. Very great project. I'm excited for all the branches to see it and all the library users to see it as well, or non-library users, so that they become library users. So
I made a zine not too long ago, but it was kind of a last minute thing. I want to redo it. What I want to know is there some sort of template we could use that anyone would recommend? Like a Microsoft booklet or something where we can just like drag and drop our stuff, our photos and our text into it, so that we kind of know in advance how it's gonna print out and all of that, and don't have to go through 3 iterations like June did, because that's something I would do. It'd be one thing would be like upside down or the wrong way, that kind of stuff.
there should be somewhere. I have the ones that are the do-it-yourself 8-page PDF foldouts. So that there's a PDF, but I think that's a different kind of template than you're looking for.
I'm trying to raise my hand.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Ziva, you gave us a list 2 years ago of all of those kinds of programs. Are the old resources available that way? Do you remember that? It was like 2.5 years ago when you were first starting, and there was a female presenter who gave us exactly what Lorraine is looking for.
Yes, I think in emails I can find something.
Yeah. See, you're clever. You probably have 2 screens. Me, I have to close you out, find my email, sign in.
But everyone else, all 13 of us, feel free to drop your resources in the chat as well. The zinelibraries.info has a good section on teaching with zines, so they should have some templates linked in there as well. So let's see, there's a PDF. Subject guides for, I bet. Or workshops and programs. And what was your zine about you made recently, Laureen? Go ahead and share with us too.
I went to an event, somebody presenting about the history of labor in the animation field, which was really interesting. And you could bring a zine. And I kept hemming and hawing about what I wanted to make and the format and everything. And I procrastinated so much that it was like the day before. So I just made kind of like a zine scrapbook. I printed out photos of union things I have, and I got them printed at the 1 hour CVS place. And I just taped them on pieces of paper and then typed like a little caption and made it like an 8.5 by 11, almost like scrapbooky type thing. It has no through line. It has no beginning, middle, end. It's just like, here's a picture of this, here's a picture of that, which is fine. But I'd like to make something kind of in the school. I like to make something with a little bit more structure to it, I think.
That sounds like a cool zine. I like scrapbook style zines the best. Oh, and you put a link in the chat. Thank you for zinelibraries.info. Oh, Santa Ana City College. Yeah, that was Sarah Bennett. Yeah, I think Sarah also had some. I know Sarah does the Place Long Beach, which is a community zine store and workshop space in downtown Long Beach. So anyone can go there for in-person help on making a zine. So like a little zine library, like zine workshop, always going when they're open. That's a good resource if anyone's around Long Beach. Let's see, Place Long Beach. They're mostly on Instagram. That's Sarah Bennett from Santa Ana Community College. That's a zine library and DIY media lab. Anyone else have any zine updates? Any zine fests? I know OC Zine Fest is coming up. Is anyone going to that or tabling? Let's see, OC Zine Fest. That's always in Anaheim at the Anaheim Public Library. Yeah, Saturday, September 7th from 11 to 4, and that's free. So maybe even if June's still around, you could take your zine and trade them. That's oczinefest.com. Oh, Aaron, thank you. Do you want to share about Armory Zine Fest in Pasadena?
Yeah, that's going to be on the 25th of this month, so it's coming up quick. And there's a link in the chat if you guys want to check it out.
Are you tabling or putting that together?
No, I'm going to be I don't know, an attendee. There you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
This Sunday. Oh, wow. So this Sunday, June, if you want, you can take your zine to the, that's in Pasadena. Well, but that's still kind of LA County. And let's see, they're having zines for queers. We've had them come speak at the Zine Club, and they're having, looks like, John Dishwasher, that's a regular at our Zine Club, and Blanquis the Creative. They also presented at our Zine Club. So there'll be a lot of familiar faces, everyone. Go check it out. It's gonna be 11 to 4, yeah, Sunday. I'll put that in the chat too. And that's at the Armory Center for Arts. Oh, and they also have Cindita Stiendita. We've had Cindy on before to talk about zines as well at Zine Club. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so we have got this month, next month. That's what I say about LA. There's always a zine event every weekend you can go to if you want. You can drive to a zine event all the time. Oh, thank you, Katie. And I know SF Zine Fest is also soon, if not, let's see, San Francisco Zine Fest. Sunday, September 1st from 11 to 5. So if you want to drive 6 hours, you can go to San Francisco Zine Fest. They have a cool poster, City View at Metreon, free admission. And I have been to San Francisco Zine Fest before, and it was really good. So maybe take a road trip. That's on a weekend, so. Thank you. Yeah, anyone that has to go, feel free. But what other zine events are coming up or zines you're working on? Anyone, feel free to share. We can also stop recording so we don't have to